What's going on, boys and girls? I hope you are all well. Oof, I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a little hot under the collar right now. Manchester City have, as you would have expected, have demolished Fulham 3-0 at home, and they have reduced the gap at the top of the Premier League to 3 points. 3 points! People, 5-6 days ago, we were sitting down getting ready to celebrate a 9 point gap at the top of the Premier League with, I think, an expectation that Liverpool were going to do their job at Anfield against City. And now all of a sudden we are going into an away fixture to Brentford with a 3 point lead. Football is a madness. You probably couldn't pick a more difficult away fixture in the Premier League right now than Brentford away. Brentford are having an absolutely incredible season when you factor in the position they were in before the season kicked off. They'd lost their manager, they'd lost their best players. By all accounts, they were in a bit of disarray, and a lot of people were talking about them getting relegated. So to see them in the position that they're in now, which is, I think, in 6th or 7th position, fighting for a Champions League spot, definitely a Europa League spot, you've got to give full credit to that manager and that group of players. And they're coming off the back of a hugely impressive 3-2 win against Newcastle at St James's Park. And look, I don't care who you are, I don't care what type of season Newcastle are having, to go to St James's Park and win is a really impressive result. So they are full of confidence right now, and they are going to be bang up for this game. And Arsenal are going to have to be up for it as well. This is going to require us being pretty much near our highest level to get the job done against Brentford, because I fully believe this is going to be an incredibly difficult fixture. And that's before you factor in the pressure of what City have done tonight and the fact that the lead is now only 3 points. It truly feels like the title race starts now. You know, the season's been moving along nicely. There's been opportunities for us to stretch the lead. There's been opportunities for City to narrow it. But I think that win against Liverpool just had all Arsenal fans kind of sitting back in their chair going, okay, this actually isn't over. And if anything, it's just getting started. And I think City, look, don't get me wrong, they'd rather be in our position, but I think City are pretty calm right now. They've been there and done it a few times now, and I think they know what this is all about. And so they're probably feeling relatively confident about where they're sitting right now. And yeah, it's up to Arsenal to be able to, stand firm in the face of that pressure and that adversity. And we just have to embrace the challenge. Like I said in my previous video, this is all about embracing the challenge and being up for the fight and proving people wrong, because I am sure there are a lot of people right now expecting us to not get a result against Brentford and potentially see that as the beginning of the end. So this is a huge game for Arsenal. It's a huge game for us to not only prove that we are legit and that we are serious, but to just, give ourselves that kind of peace of mind and that confidence that we can deal with these tricky situations when they come around. So yes, it's a huge game against Brentford. In terms of starting lineups, actually, before I go into the starting lineup, one big bit of kind of breaking news that's kind of come out in the last few hours is that Kai Havertz has gone down with an injury. Not hugely surprising, given that he's been out for pretty much the whole season. And when you come back from a big injury like that, when you play a couple of games, your body doesn't necessarily always react well to that. So it doesn't sound like it's a hugely significant injury, but it's going to be enough to keep him out of Brentford, the FA Cup round on the weekend, and the North London derby against Tottenham the following weekend. So look, that's not ideal. I am not Kai Havertz's biggest fan. I don't think he is a superstar player for us, but he was looking quite good since coming back from the injury. He'd got a goal, he'd got an assist, and he was looking dangerous. And he's obviously a vital player to what Arteta wants to do. So that is a big loss for us, particularly when you factor in the fact that we're already missing Saka, we're already missing Odegaard, Nwaneri's on loan. We're back to another position where we were earlier in the season, where our attacking line looks pretty slim at the moment. And it kind of got me thinking that, look, I know people hate it when fans talk about injuries. I get that. I hate talking about injuries too. And I know other clubs have had really bad injuries this season, two key players. But it just got me thinking that there's been a lot of negative energy towards Arsenal in recent weeks in particular about, the style of play, the way we approach games, possibly being the worst champions ever. And yeah, cool, whatever. I don't really care. But the one thing I will say, and I know people will just roll their eyes and not kind of take this seriously, but we have had another injury-ravaged season. And I know that might sound extreme, but Odegaard has been out on 3 separate occasions. Saka has been out for 2 separate occasions. Gyökeres has been out for a period of time. Havertz has been out for the whole season. Jesus has been out for pretty much 2/3 of the season. Calafiori has missed big chunks of the season. Gabriel's been out for a period. We've had a lot of injuries to this team. And to be in the position where we are in, despite all of those injuries, is just a testament to the club, to the group of players that we've put together. And, again, I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I do think that the way in which this club has just got on with things, despite all of the injuries that we've had this season, I don't think people are giving us enough credit for that. And look, they won't ever give us the credit for that, but it's the truth, Right now, we are going into this Brentford fixture with no Odegaard, no Saka, no Havertz, and they are key players for us. Whether they are in good form or not, they are key players to this starting 11, to the way Arteta wants to play, and they will be big losses. And I just hope that Odegaard and Saka are back as soon as possible. I do not want to be going into that North London derby with no Saka, no Odegaard, and no Havertz. I just don't want us to be going into that game with that sort of injury situation. So, yes, hugely disappointing. I hope that it's not too significant. I do hope that he's back as soon as possible. But I just wanted to put that in there, that I think we're not being given enough credit for the way we've dealt with the injuries this season. And yes, I know we've got a big squad, but still, you've still got to deal with that. And no team wants that at any point in the season, and we've had it on multiple occasions. So yeah, anyway, that's my rant out the way. In terms of starting 11, we have to go as strong as we possibly can for this game. This is going to be an incredibly difficult game. Raya in goal, Timber at right back. I think Calafiori, even though he had an absolute shocker against Sunderland, I think he will keep his position at left back. I think he's been one of our better players this season, and I think he's fundamental to the way we defend, but also the way we go forward. So I think he'll stick with Calafiori. Centre-back will be what it always is. Zubi in the 6, Rice in the 8. Now that Havertz has gone down injured and we still don't have any Odegaard, I can only really see Eze going in the 10. And this is, to be honest, this is the moment where Eze really needs to step up now. He has not been what we all hoped he would be this season. I know he's had moments, he's had glimpses, the hat-trick against Tottenham, the performance against Bayern. He's had some moments. The goal against Crystal Palace in the 1-0 win, he's had his moments, but we need him now to step up and deliver for the next few games while some of those players are out. So Eze in the 10, I'm expecting him to really try and step up and put in a match-winning performance. On the right, it'll be Madueke. Again, we don't really have any other options. Saka's out. Dowman's not back yet. Ranieri's been loaned out, which is now looking like a bit of a mistake, particularly when you factor in the fact De Zerbi's left Marseille. So, look, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I would not have let Ranieri go. I'm surprised by that decision. I get that he wanted to play football, and I get that we wanted to not kind of harm his development, but when you're in a Premier League title race with Manchester City and you've got an injury record like Arsenal do, you need every man on deck for this run-in. And so I would not have let Ranieri go. But it is what it is. So Madueke on the right, I need more from him. It was a good performance against Leeds, but I thought against Sunderland he was poor, so he needs to step up. And if it's not Madueke, I wouldn't be against giving Martinelli a run. I think Martinelli has looked dangerous when he's come on. I thought his performance against Sunderland when he came on was really lively. He looked a threat, and I wouldn't be opposed to giving him a shot on the right wing and then putting Trossard on the left. So, yeah, either or. Up front, look, I think it's Gyökeres. Jesus has been given some chances recently, and I don't think he's taken them. I think at the end of the day, Gyökeres is scoring goals at the moment. He's in form. He's full of confidence, I would expect. So I would be starting Gyökeres and looking to bring Jesus on if things aren't working out in the second half. Again, we don't have a ton of options right now. So I'd be going with Gyökeres in the 9, and I'd be bringing Jesus on if needed. We have to win. We have to win this game. We cannot allow City to creep back into this. You know, we've got some really tough fixtures coming up. Chelsea, Tottenham, Brighton. This is as tough as all of those, to be honest, but we have to get a win. We have to get a win in this one. I'm going to go with a... I want to say we'll go there and we'll just put in a really assured 2-0 performance, but you know, Thiago is scoring a lot of goals this season, and I think at home, I think Brentford will get a goal. So I'm going to go with probably a bit of a nail-biting 2-1 win for Arsenal, but I expect us to get the job done and maintain that 6-point lead at the top. So yes, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know your starting 11. Let me know if you think that we can handle this pressure. And let me know what you think about the whole Nwaneri situation. Do you think we should have kept hold of him? I'd be interested to get your thoughts. So yeah, anyway, this is it, people. Buckle up. We need to embrace this ride because it could get a little bit bumpy. But I'm backing the boys to get the win tomorrow against Brentford. Let's go.